Ancient Rome is important. To ignore the Romans is not just to turn a blind eye to the distant past. Rome still helps to define the way we understand our world and think about ourselves, from high theory to low comedy. After 2,000 years, it continues to underpin Western culture, politics, what we write, and how we see the world and our place in it. Those are the opening words to SPQR by Mary Beard. And today I want to talk about Rome, and I want to talk about my TBR, MBR, pile of possibilities, whatever you want to call it, the books I would like to get to over March and April when there's no place like Rome. Readathon is happening. Now, I'm one of the co-hosts. This is the brainchild of Faith from Faith in Books, as I'm one of the co-hosts along with Mark from Book Time with Elvis and Steve from Steve Donahue. And I'm a little bit late to getting my TBR video up because he has already done it. I'll link all their channels and their videos down below. This is a fabulous event, one because I wanted to do some Roman history reading for Historathon, Q1 this year anyway. And what I love about it is this can be made to fit with, there's so many readathons and reading events in March especially, and some in April, but this can maybe fit with all of them. So Historathon, obviously you can read some non-fiction about Rome, Roman history. You've also got March Mystery Madness, Middle Grade March, I'm forgetting something, March of the Mammoths. It's also International Women's Day and Women's History Month as well. So, and I've got hopefully some titles that can fit all of them as well. I've already done a Historathon TBR, which I will link somewhere above my head and also link it down below so you can check it out. So if you want to see non-fiction that I'm planning to read over the next couple of months. There's also one addition to that because there's one of you actually put forward a book that I'm going to pick up and read, which fits in Historathon, but also fits with International Women's Day. And I think it was recommended by Lana. So thank you very much for the recommendation. This is A History of the Roman Empire in 21 Women by Emma Southon. Not sure how you pronounce her surname. So I'll be picking that one up definitely within March and April as well. So that's the only non-fiction I think I've got on my list. What I'm going to focus on in this video is mainly historical fiction and a few sort of historical fiction mysteries as well. So I've got a few of them, which again, a lot of the mystery ones came from your recommendations. So thank you again very much for that. The historical fiction ones, a couple of these, so I did reach out to Alan from the Library of Alexandria and to Laura from Fantasy Awash because they are both extremely knowledgeable about Rome, Roman history, Roman religion, all things to do with Rome. So I reached out to them to get some suggestions as well, and I've put them in this list as well, so you'll come across them as well. So historical fiction, there's a few that I definitely want to get to and a couple of possibilities. So Augustus by John Williams is one I definitely want to get to. This is one that I've seen a few people put as one of their favourite historical fiction novels ever. And John Williams is an author I want to get to. He also wrote Stoner, which again is another book on my shelf that I need to get to. But I definitely want to read his work. Then we've got I, Claudius by Robert Graves. I'll get to that as well. In fact, to be honest, when I'm recording this video, I have just started it. So this is about Claudius and his sort of, I suppose, the beginning of the Roman Empire. So from sort of starts with Augustus and it's sort of his family, the familial relations and the first few emperors of Rome. Then we've got, and this is where we got also the March of the Mammoths can fit in. So we've got the Cicero trilogy. I know it's actually 3 books, but there is a bind up where it's just one massive tome. I think that counts. It may be cheating, but it's got to be over 1,000 pages. I don't know how many pages it is, but it's a big chunky book. So the Cicero trilogy by Robert Harris. I'd like to get to that as well. Then I've got, excuse me. Then I've got an arc that I need to read as well, which is Nero by Con Igulden. I do enjoy Con Igulden. I really liked his, so he did one on Genghis Khan and that period, the Mongol invasions, etc., which was really, really good. I know he did one previously on the Roman Empire, and there was a little bit of controversy over that because I think he changed, I've not read it, but I think he changed the relationships. So there's more familial connection between Caesar and Brutus, but I'm not 100% sure, but I know there's a bit of controversy. But anyway, I've got the arc for Nero by Con Igulden, which I think comes out in the summer at some point. So I'd like to get to that. Then I've got a couple of other authors that I've never read before, but I'm curious because they've got quite a few books based in ancient Rome, and one of them is Ben Kane. So he's got Arena of Sands and a couple of others. I'll put them up on or Sands of the Arena, sorry, and a couple of others that I'll put up on the screen. So I'm quite interested to see as well. He's someone I've never read before. I've not heard a huge amount about him, but certainly books set in the right time period. And then we've got Simon Scarrow, who again I've not really heard anyone talk about, but he's got a massively long 20-odd book series based on Rome. I think it starts maybe with like the invasion of Britain and just carries on over many decades. So that sounds really interesting. Again, not heard many people talk about it, but it is an enormous series. Then we can move on to March Mystery Madness. And most of these, I think all of these, came from suggestions from you guys. So thank you for these. And I'd like to pick up maybe a couple of, I won't maybe get to all of them, and certainly not to the whole series because they're quite long. Most of them are quite long series. But we've got Marcus Didius Falcon series by Lindsay Davis. We've got the Roma Sub Rosa series by Stephen Saylor. And the Marcus Corvinus series by David Wishart. So these are all mysteries, sort of crime-solving stories set in ancient Rome. They're all different series based on that. There's quite a few of them, have quite a few books in the series as well. So I'm obviously just picking up probably the first one if I get to them. But I do quite fancy reading a mystery crime story set in ancient Rome. So one of these. Just on that point as well, there is, to touch on middle grade March, there is a series, I think it's just called The Roman Mysteries, by, have a go in that, yes, Caroline Lawrence, which again is middle grade. Again, it's sort of, I think it's historical novels set in, obviously targeted sort of middle grade, again set in Rome, again mysteries, sort of crime solving. I think it's kids solving crimes in ancient Rome, which sounds quite entertaining. Should be, I imagine, quite easy, light reading. So the main ones, I would like to get to some original works from the time period as well. There's so many authors, so there's quite a few authors that we've got their works, or sections or parts of their works that are still available today. So we've got Livy, we've got Tacitus, and a few others. We've got, I did think about Virgil's The Aeneid, but there's going to be a readathon for that, I think in August. So I'll probably pick that up then. I know Faith is doing Horace. So maybe I'll pick up something from Horace as well and we can discuss that. There's plenty of options, but I would like to touch on something by one of the authors from the time. So this is mainly around my sort of historical fiction, a bit of mystery fiction. Obviously most of my non-fiction I put in Historathon, but there is one addition to that, as I mentioned. But I want to get just not all non-fiction history, but really sort of delve into and disappear into the sort of the real historical setting of Rome, but told, telling me a fictional story that I can just enjoy and hopefully contain some information that I will remember. It may not, but we'll find out because we are planning to do a live stream. The four of us planning to do a live stream towards the end of April, probably the 27th of April, I think is likely to be the day. But I will confirm it once we have a set day and time, because obviously it's sort of spread out over the world. So we've got to organise a time that works for everyone. Where I think there'll be a fun little quiz where I can show myself up with my ignorance, having even attempted to read most of these books and still not remembering much about the Roman world. But hey ho, that could be the experience I have. There's also a Discord channel that's been set up, so I'll put a link for that in the description below as well. So come and join that. We can chat about all the kind of Roman books. There's a lot of people obviously reading non-fiction historical works. As there's a few of us reading primary works from the time, and a couple of us reading a lot more of the fictional side of it as well. So there's plenty of broad scope, as I hope you can make it fit with any other readathons you're doing as well. So that's all I've got for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, obviously like, subscribe, etc., etc. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.